Hello and welcome back to the Disc Golf Pro Tour on JomezPro. We are in Emporia, Kansas at the Emporia Country Club for the Dynamic Discs Open. We've got your round one feature card, back nine coverage, BigSexy commentary as always, Nate Sexton and Jeremy Koling.
P. McBee doing as P. McBee do. He is going through this course effortlessly right now. He is at 6 down, just charging through the front nine. Other players running into some issues with bogeys. McBeth not been out of bounds once on this treacherous course with wind everywhere and OP on every hole. Simon's still hanging in there with a solid 3 down the front nine. Nikko at 2. Drew it even, and you can see that leaderboard. 2 down is on the top 10 leaderboard. That's showing how tough this course is playing.
On to hole 10, par 3. Surprised to see 402, really. It doesn't feel that far, maybe because of the downhill. But you have out of bounds on the right and a little bit on the left, but it's a ways away. So you have players going with maybe a flat mid-range, a flex forehand, a doable play. I think this might even be a putter for Paul. Just throw it hard.
Oh, and this is overturned. And look at that break. That is going out of bounds for 90% of the field. McBeth, however, right back into play, and he's got a birdie putt.
Also a little overturned. See what the trees do for Simon.
Oh, wow.
No problem.
Incredible. He has a park job. Simon will be surprised at how close that is when he gets down there.
And Nikko going with the driver, flex line.
Just clearing the hill and letting the disc do the work. That is so beautiful to watch that.
Oh, great reaction.
All 3 players getting a little bit fortunate here. This is good to see.
Yeah, that's probably the difference between a 35-footer and an 18-footer.
Certainly.
It's a big difference percentage-wise.
Especially to an elevated pin. Drew also going low. He does clear the hill and turn. Wow, and he's in the circle. I did not think that had a chance to make it to the circle's edge, but look at that. McBeth from 58. Windy, uphill. Oh my gosh, I thought he was going to make it. I just assumed he had already made it. Doesn't draw metal. He'll have that short putt for par. That is a solid putt. Very confident stroke from Drew. That hit the heart. Nikko's in for the birdie as well. Simon's got a tap in. All little work left, and that was high chains right there. Put in the basket for par.
Hole 11, par 3, 408. This one has out of bounds cart path on the left side and long, and out of bounds wall on the right. Pretty simple hyzer until it gets windy, and then you start having some issues because if you get that wind underneath, take a big skip, you're going to be straight out of bounds.
Really anything can happen with that sidewalk being as close as it is to the pin.
Also, that tree is huge. If you get behind that tree, you're not probably going to make the putt.
Yeah, it is almost unstraddleable if you're directly behind it. Even for a monster player like myself, that is a wide sucker up there, boy. Nikko tight, but a good flat straight skip, and he is parked.
Nice.
That's good for a follow flight. And that's pretty textbook right there.
Yeah, through the wind, no problem.
A little bit of a tailwind allowed the players to put one pretty high and allow the wind to just kind of smash it down to the ground. Could even club down a little bit. This is very tight, but maybe that wind will help it just by smashing it down. Oh, it's the big skip that you're a little bit scared of, and that is across the path OB. And he's at the furthest part of the green back there. That'll be every bit of 30 feet back to the pin for the par putt.
A little bit lower and flatter than Drew's. Should do that straight skip similar to Nikko. Really well done.
Beautiful. Oh, no. Quite a bit of change on the right side, but Simon pushes out to have to settle for a par.
Looks like we will have 2 birdies, 1 par, and 1 bogey for the group here as Paul taps in his birdie. Hole 12, par 3, 324 feet, slightly uphill. You've got this one wide tree that can get you in trouble. You've got to go either over that with the forehand or play that flex backhand kind of up the middle. You got OB long grass, OB on the right side, OB wall long, and OB golf fairway on the left.
I'm curious of what the actual slope of this is, because it feels, even though it's 324 feet, to get around that tree with a forehand is every bit of what, even like a player like Eagle McMahon, he tells me he's throwing a full forehand here, and we can see him throw 500-foot forehands. So that really says how big that tree is, and just that little bit of uphill. Is this wide enough? No, right into the middle of it.
We saw Nikko too low and short, Paul into the tree, so neither one of them with a credible birdie look.
I like this play from Simon, forcing over something hard with very overstable disc. Did not get the height on that one. That's coming up well short.
What's up, neighbor?
Nikko familiar with that line.
And Drew really last chance for this group to have anything in birdie range. And I don't like this at all.
This could be out of bounds left. I haven't seen that mistake from anyone before, but that is certainly possible with the wind. Very tricky wind, headwind, right to left. Nikko with a great run from about 80. Paul just landed that up nicely. Simon will definitely be giving this a bid. But that wind is blowing hard.
Ooh, just stays up on the wind, and he's gonna... Yeah, that's not too far, but we have seen a few dropped strokes from that range. And who would have thought? I mean, honestly, not that difficult a hole. You know, certainly has its tricky parts, but for this group, playing the way that they've been playing, surprising not to see even one credible birdie look.
Drew will have to settle for another bogey here. Move him to 1 up. Wind slightly dies down. Simon, he is good from that distance. Yeah, the hole, one of the few. I believe there's only 4 or maybe 5 holes in the entire course that are averaging below par. back to playing, Paul, you're going to have to continue being patient with the 3.5 month break we had in the middle of the season. We are back to action, though, which is a good thing.
I just hope it can stay that way. The Disc Golf Pro Tour doing a great job making sure that they have the contact tracing, making sure to keep everyone really aware and limiting the people at the course, doing all they can to allow players to play in a safe way.
Every precaution that you can imagine has been taken into this event for safety and for player safety, but also just for the continuance of disc golf. We all want to play. We all want to watch action. We want to bring you the action.
But of course, impossible to be perfect with that stuff. And I hope, given that we are commentating to you from the distant past, I hope that from where you guys are sitting, that the Pro Tour didn't have any interruptions and was able to continue to go. OB for Nikko there, as he doesn't get the anhyzer he was looking for. And that's the danger of throwing that super overstable stuff. If you miss that angle, it's moving in a hurry towards the side of the fairway.
This is just, this is one of the best examples of just complete control and trust with the driver. Paul just makes that look so much easier than it is, folks. The best of the best. This is a hole where I think of Nikko forcing over an overstable disc and coming back in bounds, because he's one of the best ever at that shot. And he goes out of bounds. Paul McBeth comes up right after him with no line to judge from and just puts it right there inside the circle, as does Simon. But at 399, slightly uphill, this whole plot probably plays closer to 430, maybe a little bit less, but
yeah, it's a long shot,
and it's slightly into the headwind as well, so it's playing even further than it normally would in a calm day. 3
fantastic shots in a row there.
Yeah, those aren't realistic. That is not what you're traditionally seeing on this hole.
Oh, Nikko might have it.
Oh,
wow, I thought it was in 2. That was a really, really good effort.
Paul in for the birdie. Great putt.
There's nothing really that impressive about a 28-foot putt until you just start to see the percentage that Paul is putting down from that range, even in the wind. It's like everybody else, and not to say he won't drop a putt at some point, I'm sure he will.
Yeah.
And he has had a few small putting miscues, but if you can just be so solid from that range, taking advantage of so many opportunities, as we see a Jomez here for Simon in really solid.
That definitely cut through. I mean, certainly left side.
That wasn't nice, though. Yeah, you're going to see that drop more often than not.
Man.
But yeah, Paul able to just continue to connect from that 40 and in range. It just makes him so difficult to catch.
Yeah. There's no mistakes, no slip-ups from that guy. And he's 8 down through 13 holes.
Nikko in for bogey.
And the first hole that he didn't hit metal for birdie was the hole before this one, and he had to lay up with the zone. Other than that, he has been tapping on the door every other chance.
Hole 14, par 4, 789 feet. This one has a very wide fairway, but still, as usual, OB on both sides, and as well as some OB kind of even with the basket on the left side where you see that stone wall. This big tree had a important branch break off since the last time I was here, and you have a lot more room to play with, airspace, as you come in on the left side of that tree.
Huge branch. I mean, it's almost like a full tree came off this thing.
And you used to have to play it so low, but not so much anymore. So we're going to see Paul lay down a roller.
Wow, surprising to see that.
A little windy, though. It's not going to get the distance he would have liked. It just kind of spends too much time curling around, but really not a problem.
Yeah, he's safe and pretty open from there. And with that big branch coming down at some point from last year to now, the approach distance has greatly increased. Before, I feel like you really had to be at a specific place on the screen to throw the sidearm skip under the branches. Now, if you have the power to get there, you don't have to really worry about that low ceiling anymore. Simon, clearly a guy who likes throwing rollers on this one. This one,
wind just playing with that, though. Yeah. Even right out of his hand, and you see it again there. Side wind, not not generally very good for rollers unless you can really plan it to be up under the disc and kind of playing that sail as it goes down the fairway.
Yeah.
I think a wind that's hitting the top of the disc is really a tough thing.
Nikko's also going roller.
This is the more aggressive line with a little more cut, and I think he's going to reap some benefits there. I think that's a little longer than the other two rollers.
But still, you could tell immediately that thing was trying to push over and never really had a chance to get that big distance, even though he had a great laydown. Paul about to showcase that beautiful forehand he has.
Going to need a big skip. Got a medium skip, but that's a long putt.
Mm-hmm. Sets Paul up with about a 50 to 55 foot putt. Drew going flex there, and
I don't know if it was supposed to be a flex, but it sure flipped over.
Yeah, maybe just a little bit of a grip issue. It looked like it kind of came out of his hand a bit wonky.
What a shot.
Yeah, I love
Does it
that.
have enough distance? Not quite. But man, does that just from the game that you and I play.
It's so
that
boring.
shot, if someone told me I had to do that, I would be so scared.
If you were like, you have 2 weeks to learn Chinese or throw that shot, I'm learning more Chinese than there's no way.
And he hits the wire.
Simon with a horrible break, going backdoor hyzer, staying OB. Drew having to pitch up the layup, and Simon going from a good birdie look to having to settle for the bogey. Paul from about 60. Yeah, it's good.
What a putt. That is so good. Just when it looks like maybe okay, he's not going to birdie this one. What a putt, and just right out of the gates, Paul is just he's in that McBeast mode already. It's a scary thing. That is a fantastic score. -9 through 14. Oh, good effort.
Nikko has been so close on a lot of these long-range putts and even a couple of these like mid-range throws. It doesn't seem like Paul missed a beat. You know, I certainly sensed it on my card. It felt like there was a little bit of that, like, hey, like we're back playing a tournament again. Like, whoa, okay, all right. Like, how do we do this? Like, how do we manage our game? And it took us a little bit of time. And once we did, you know, I was playing with Eagle and Ricky and Eric. And once that little bit of discomfort got settled out, you know, it was back to business as usual. Paul just got right back into the action. We're talking about 3.5 months of no tournament action. Personally, I had never gone more than 2 months in my entire career since I started in 2007. And so we're talking about twice as much time as we've ever had in between events. And it's just a long time.
Yeah, it really is. The 15th is a 447-foot par 3, technically an island hole, though the island is very large. That's fantastic. Right to the green for Paul. It looks like he is going to go to double digits.
Wow. And Drew, a player who has one time on camera smashed the dead center of the basket here. Unfortunately, it did not stay in. But if anyone understands the hyzer line on this one, it's him.
And he proves it. Wow.
It's the perfect distance for Drew to just throw that high knife hyzer with an overstable driver.
And Nikko going to go with that big hyzer as well. A little lower line, looking for a skip up to the pin.
I like that play as well. Just a little bit tighter than Nikko threw it there. But that's still wrapping itself up to about 27 feet. Good tee shot. You don't have to worry about the back side of that tree that you're trying to throw the hyzer around. If you go low, you can just skip around it. Simon super wide, but good swing on this one. Coming in.
Solid.
Also in the circle.
And I'm struck by, Paul's going to, in all likelihood, he's going to go to -10 here. Imagine how great of a player. This is a three-round tournament. How great of a player are you if you come out here and you go 3-3-4 and you finish the tournament at 10? You're a sponsored player that fans know the name of.
Yeah.
Like, you are a fantastic player. You're the best player in your hometown.
Yeah.
And Paul is already at 10, and he's not even done with one round. And like 99% of the golfers in the world would have no shot at being at 10 down through 3 rounds on this course.
Certainly. There's just so much trouble to be had on this course. There's really no place where you're ever given any like room to have a 3 or 4 hole birdie stretch. You have to fight for everything out here.
Okay, Paul, you kind of have to make this because I set up this big thing about you going to -10. He has an earpiece in, folks, so
yeah, he hears us.
He's going to take a little bit extra time because I'm talking to him, but he should be able to knock this down.
We're talking to him in the past.
Sorry. Nice putt, buddy.
Ask him if we're still going to Golden Corral tonight.
Incredible. -10 through 15 holes. And really just leaving, elite, some of our game's best in the dust right now.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say anyone's struggling. There's just not performing perfection.
Yeah.
And so because of that, you have 9-stroke difference between Paul and Drew right now.
Every course has a signature hole, one that sets it apart from the rest. At the country club, that's hole 16. This island hole has a picturesque view, one that begs the player to go for it. Any shot that doesn't land inbounds proceeds directly to the drop zone. Don't worry, there is a layup option, but what's the fun in that? Let's see how it plays out.
But yeah, with that pin coming up towards the water, it certainly isn't quite as easy to play it for the safe par out wide to the right. The best play to really attack is by going for this pin. And this drive is just, there's nothing wrong with that. It's
nice
so
shot.
good.
Right back to the wall, roughly circle's edge.
And looking to maybe get another birdie on this just onslaught of the first round. Drew looking to match that line, and this is just held on an early tree.
Wow.
Straight into the water. Simon looking like he's going to go with a flex play. This is hanging out a little too far right and catching the edge of the limb, dropping down in the water. Don't think that really had a chance to get back to the green.
No, I think it would have been right. Nikko going to try a forehand.
Look at this.
That's not going.
Oh, wow. Really leaning so much on that forehand. Surprising to see Nikko do that. But he's worked a lot on that shot. Not too surprised, but in the past we've seen him go even left-handed.
Wow, Drew a little short there, but stays in bounds.
Bit scary.
We've seen Simon make this before in competition. Gave it another good try. But all three of these guys missing the island. I know we've been saying it all day, but what a clinic. I mean, Paul is just pulling away even more.
Ooh. Great effort from Nikko. And Paul, he's got a bit of a death putt. Does he?
Oh.
Wow. Doesn't really take much time to think about that one. Does not want to worry about dropping any strokes this early in the event. Lays it up wisely.
Drew in for bogey. Simon does the same, and it's just going to be simple tap-ins for Nikko and Paul. Paul's saying sometimes 10 through 16 is enough. Sometimes you don't need to press for that 11th. Hole 17, par 4, 774. OB on both sides, all the way down, and then the fairway kind of candy canes its way over to the right. Most players are going to go low backhand, try to stay as flat and straight as possible to set up a big hyzer, big forehand, anything that where the gap makes sense for you, depending on where you land, to try to get up there for that birdie look.
That is exactly what you want. I think you want to be on the right side of the fairway. It opens up a few more options. And Paul getting over that hill and flexing, that's exactly how you draw it up. Drew going high. This better be very understable.
Those leaves aren't helping.
And that is drifting and fading and skipping OB.
At least it's way up there, so he might still have a play for the green.
Yeah.
I mean, he has a play for the green from anywhere, but even a regular guy might have a play for the green from there.
Yep. And Simon just cooking this one. This is beautiful.
Whoa.
That is exactly what you want, and then another 100 feet.
Yeah. That's probably 475 feet, low ceiling up over a hill with OB on both sides. You got to be kidding me.
Just sick. Nikko looking like he's also going to be skipping OB unless he gets a great break, and not going to get that. We're over half stroke above par average on this one. It's only the 4th hardest hole on the course.
Paul going for this low hyzer line. Does not push through, but he makes it inbounds.
Oh my goodness. Again, just one of those narrow margins of error. Paul seeming to be on the right side of fate so many times when it comes to that. Just crawling over that line safe. And if he goes out of bounds there, he comes all the way back and he essentially has just about the same shot again.
Great shot from Nikko there, recovering after the out of bounds.
It's tricky when you have only a meter to separate you from out of bounds. To have to do a run-up for a shot like this with high grass. All about the arm swing here. You can't get your body into it. Drew throwing a spike hyzer.
Oh, no.
And he has gone well long. He is out of bounds. He'll be inside the circle putting for his bogey 5. But look at that. I mean, Simon's almost pin high. Look at this.
Wow, would have loved to see that finish.
Wow, he wanted to.
That was tracking.
That was, man, we could have just seen a 2 there if he had thrown it better.
Maybe even an ace if he'd done the drive right.
And Simon, such a bummer after one of the best tee shots I've ever seen and one of the most beautiful looking approaches. And
I gotta wonder if maybe up and over could have been a better play for the birdie. You know, I don't know. I wasn't right at his lie, so far be it from me to question his decision. But I think with his power, there's a lot of up and over possibilities.
And Drew, only 3 shots on the hole, just unfortunately 2 OB strokes to go with it. Does save the 5. The second time we've seen him hit the save from circle's edge from the out of bounds area. So good job for him. Nikko with a good par save.
Yeah, no birdies here, even despite 2 great drives.
And a really difficult hole, like we said earlier. Only 8 birdies of the day. Emerson Keith, one of those players. Kevin Jones, Calvin Heimberg, Eagle McMahon, Philo, Jake Lauber, Ray Hill, and AJ Risley. But Emerson Keith, that is a name to keep on your docket, folks. He is playing a very good round as well. So he is going to be a name that we're going to be talking about soon here. Heading into hole 18.
18, par 4, 729 feet with the OB everywhere. You've got to get at least 300 or so over the water to be safe to begin with. Most players opting for a right finishing shot, kind of a layup feeling drive to set up the hyzer backhand as a righty to the green. The other play would be kind of going big off the tee to set up a flat shot into the green. I think that's more likely from a power throwing lefty though.
Paul bit tight.
That's going to necessitate a little bit more of a flat shot than a hyzer. You'd probably like to be a little more left so you could just go sort of turn your brain off and rip a hyzer up there.
Yeah.
Though, the good thing about the flat shot, less likely to roll. It is a side hill green.
And Simon, oh no.
Whoa.
This needs to keep turning because if...
Whoa, and it's that short?
Oh, and Simon has not even crossed.
How is that possible?
bounds.
That looked like it was... I thought that was crushed long. Like that just was super slow flyer, I guess.
Yeah, he threw a mid-range turnover and it just never quite hit the edge. Never hit that turn.
So surprising. I thought he was going to be 100 feet longer than that when I saw the disc come out of his hand.
And Nikko going with a forehand low.
You don't see that much.
No, it's...
But that's a nice position.
Yeah, that's where you want to be. And what a shame for Simon. It's just so much grass up there to land in bounds.
This is going to be pretty right. Yeah, okay. And do all OBs go to that drop zone, even Simon coming short?
I believe so.
Okay, yeah. So now we see him at the drop zone. A doable but tricky shot of roughly 390 feet. And yeah, doable, I guess. Beautiful.
As he does it. You can see that hyzer line from Nikko coming up just a bit short as it trickles over the circle one flag. 25 feet left for Nikko.
And Drew's still left enough to swing this. Looks like he's got the overstable driver in his hand.
And that is also really well done.
Yeah.
With a beautiful Huck Labs spinning tri-fly die. Paul having to go probably with a little bit more flex. I'm guessing I don't think he can just throw a straight hyzer. I think he's going to have to kind of...
He's got a distance driver.
Yeah. He's been throwing this thing controlled all day, so sticking with what has been working for him all around. Well, he's
still able to go with it more than we thought. That's nice. Little short.
Yeah, that's surprisingly short. But that OB does come in pretty quick behind the green, so that is the mistake to make, I suppose. If you're a little bit off on the distance, you want to come up short, not long. But Paul left for this. Get to 11 down. Wow. Elevated pin. Are you kidding me?
40-footer.
And hearing claps, that is a sign of how great that shot is, because there's no spectators out here. Where are these claps coming from?
Yeah.
I mean, people just know that something great happened and just started clapping.
Yeah.
But that's
dog walkers.
Dog walkers
out on the main road.
Yeah.
Another nice putt.
And that was not above the cage until the very last second. Drew left with this to get to even. Good birdie, way to finish, and we are going to have not a star frame because Simon actually saved the par.
Yeah, save.
But there you go. There is going to be the leader in the clubhouse. I don't even care what our screen's about to show us. 11 down is an absolute smoke of a round.
Yeah, 6 on the front, 5 on the back. Big putts, precision drives.
OB free, bogey free.
Yeah.
Almost flawless. I mean, and he was knocking on the door of a 16 down.
A well-deserved fire emoji for Paul McBeth there. Our lead card for round 2 going to be Ricky Wysocki, Emerson Keith, both at 8K Kevin Jones at 7. Thank you guys so much for joining us for round 1 coverage from the Dynamic Discs Open here in Emporia. We got to thank the Founders Club. Thank you so much for your guys' support, keeping the coverage going. Thank you to Jeremy. Thank you to Jomez. We're going to see you guys tomorrow.